You never seen a museum like this. In here, you'll see every piece of pop culture you can think of, plus more you didn't even know existed. All this stuff here was bought by one anonymous man and likes to show off his collection right here in the American Treasure Tour Museum. He's got everything from McDonald's to Christmas stuff, pianos, dolls, and even animatronics, with the most famous one in here being Chuck E. Cheese that still works today. It's basically a collection of everything. I don't know how I never heard of this place sooner, but when I did, I knew I had to explore it and see what they got. Right when you enter the building, you can see how massive it is. This place started out as a tire company in 1937 called B.F. Goodrich Tire Factory. They would produce up to 12,000 tires a day in this 1.2 million square foot building, with the museum taking up 100,000 of that, which is still huge. The tire company closed in 1986, and this museum wouldn't open until 2010. When you walk in, you're greeted to the first half of this place. This is the walking portion where you'll see old things like a bunch of pianos, every version of a toy phone you can think of. Now this is what I like to see, just old weird toys. A bunch of old cameras that are lined up, all these Raggedy Ann dolls, I can't even count how many there are. Like seriously, this has to be one of the biggest collections of this doll I have ever seen. It was never ending. And right when you thought it was over, there was still more stuff in this collection. This is insane. I seriously think this guy's got to get more dolls. There isn't enough here. But moving on from that, there also was these small villages from different movies and shows. And I always love looking at stuff like this. This display says, can you name all 40 greatest horror films? And you have to look in and see if you can name them. I thought that was kind of cool, but my personal favorite has to go to the Wizard of Oz display because the wizard is the mayor from The Grinch. I'm not sure if that was done on purpose, but I just found that funny. And as you move along in this room, there's so many other things to see that you're bound to miss something. That can pretty much be said about this entire place. There is no way you'll be able to see it all in just one visit. That's how much stuff is in here. This guy probably goes on eBay and literally buys everything. From there, you move on to the next walking portion of the museum, and this is where it gets really interesting. You'll come across old cars, and when I say old, I mean it. And it's not just one or two old cars, you'll see rows of them. For any car fans, this is definitely your section. And if you look closely, almost every car is being driven by a character. I don't think that there was one vehicle that didn't have a plush behind the wheel. You have these random guys just sitting here, a gorilla with this huge banana, this little movie section with old TVs, and a poster of my favorite Indiana Jones movie. You have this other movie related poster with every Best Picture winner on it. And of course, because Rocky won Best Picture, I gotta throw it in the video real quick, with it being my favorite movie. And staying on the topic of movie posters, there really isn't any shortage here. Almost all the walls are covered with them. You'll definitely find the movie you enjoy here, just like this Rocky poster at the top. Of course, there's other weird stuff which I don't even know what to say about them, and probably the greatest thing so far would be this old Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. This is just one of many that they have, but you can view this one up close and even get a good look at its old red hat he used to wear. These were made during the 1980s when the restaurants were still called Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Most of the time they would sit on a balcony and you could only see the upper half of the animatronic. Chuck E. Cheese had these for many years and even tried to give them a new stage for them to sit on called the road stage, but eventually decided to give them all legs. But of course, with Chuck E. Cheese destroying the animatronics for the new remodels, there's not many of these left, and like I said, this isn't the only one you'll see in here. But where are the other ones at, you might ask? Well, that would be in the third and final section of the museum, where it's so big you have to take a train to go through it all. You haven't seen anything close to everything this place has to offer, because most of it is in this part of the building. And just keep in mind, everything you see is one man's collection. That is still insane to me. As you start the ride, you are overwhelmed by the amount of stuff. I thought I saw it all until I got here. And as you move along, they have speakers playing stuff that tells you different facts about everything, so you can better understand all the stuff you're looking at.
World's largest collection.
But let me just say, it's hard to even talk about certain things because there's so much. Just one clip has so many things in it I could point out, like this Mario that's randomly riding a horse, this creepy Elvis, or what about Peter Pan, but it looks like he's flipping you off. But I'll just show you some of my favorite things I saw, so this video isn't 18 hours long. If you're a fan of animatronics, you will definitely not be disappointed here, because almost every section has some, and I like seeing all the different ones they got, as creepy as some of them might be. Like these clowns in the window were cool. It kind of reminds me of the opening to A Christmas Story where they're looking in the toy store. And this room was like a wonderland of animatronics. You can't even count how many, and most of them are so random. Like this one where the blanket moves for some reason. These frogs that go back and forth. This dude swallowing a sword. I don't even know what's happening here. And there even was Swiss Army knife animatronics, because why not? But that's not even close to the amount that's here. I could talk all day about the animatronics alone, but I'll mention some other things that were just as interesting. I'll talk more about my favorite animatronic they had at the end of this video. One area I really liked was the Christmas section. Growing up, I always went to places that had stuff like this, where you could walk through and there was Christmas animatronics everywhere. So seeing this brought me back to those times, and I really enjoyed this part because of that. I even recognized some Christmas stuff I used to have. But don't worry, Christmas isn't the only holiday in here, because they also have Halloween and Easter. I didn't realize you could get so much stuff for Easter, but this guy did it. Of course, TV shows and movies are a big thing here as well. You'll see many famous characters, whether that be Snow White, The Simpsons, Bugs Bunny, Three Stooges, and the list goes on and on. But while you're looking at those, you'll also come across many old restaurant signs, like Dairy Queen, Burger King, KFC, Hooters, and of course McDonald's, with this ginormous statue of Ronald McDonald himself. And if you look hard enough, you'll see Ronald in the background many times throughout, especially in this creepy clown section of the tour where there's like 10 of them in the corner. Definitely not weird at all. But of course, I had to save the best for last, and that would be these Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. If you thought the one was cool, here's more, with Chuck E. Cheese himself, Mr. Munch, and Helen. Unfortunately, they don't have Jasper or Pasquale, but they do have a couple rare ones, and those would be these characters called the Warbleds. These singing crows were background singers in Chuck E. Cheese during the 1980s. This is when they were still trying out a bunch of animatronics in their locations to see what people liked the most, and these were one of them. There were a couple different variations, and you can see two of them here. You have the colorful version of them, and this other version, which I guess it wasn't too popular because I can't find one photo of it being in a restaurant. I guess no one liked this design. And as for the three main animatronics, just like the other one, they were all a part of the balcony stage where you can only see the upper half. So that's why they don't have legs here. But the craziest part of this all is that they actually still work. Just having them alone is rare in itself, but watching them move after all this time is not something you'll see every day. They sing a song that they used to perform back in the day. And if you want to see the full thing, I'll put a link in the description. But I never thought I would see something like this. And with that, the tour was over. I really enjoyed my time looking around here, and because of the amount of stuff that they got, I still feel like I missed so much. Like this little Chuck E. Cheese plush I almost didn't see. But the coolest Easter egg they have here is actually around the back of the building, where you can see an Alfred E. Newman statue, also known as Muffler Man. You would think they would have this guy in the front for everyone to see, but I guess they want to keep him a secret for some reason. Well, I found him. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, and I am now selling merch. Click the link in the description to get yours today.